Maybe, possibly, we might be live. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to Osborne Motors Endurance Challenge. We are back for season number 15, week 1 at Daytona. New format this season, both for the way that the broadcast is being done, as well as for the way the challenge and the season is going to be done for OMEC. And it's an 8-week calendar this season, but it's a different split of all of that. But, more importantly, in the booth as well for this season is Nicholas Maynard. How are you doing?
Man, I am fantastic. Happy to be here. Excited to be here, especially on on this side of things. Kind of weird watching people drive race cars.
It's a little bit different when you're the one driving the race cars instead of the one in the race car also driving as we bother you with it.
Yeah, a little bit. So no, I'm excited to see how this thing goes and to watch some good racing. Finally be able to see what all happens on track instead of trying to watch it as I drive around.
Heck yeah. All right. I love that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to picking your brain throughout the season on all the pieces of driving that I'm sure I'm missing with my, I'd say, much more limited experience in the world of track racing. Talking about the way the season's working in some ways, as well as the ability to kind of pick your brain for knowledge. New format. So we have 2 endurance rounds between, and then we have a sprint week intersecting each one of those for those 8 weeks. So we'll have 2 endurances, a sprint, 2 more endurances, a sprint, and final 2 endurances. Are you excited about those changes, or are you dreading them?
No, I think it's a good change. The endurance rounds bring a bit more action in it. It gives you a chance to recover, with the pit stop. So that'll, I think, take a little bit of the pressure off and give these guys a chance to kind of take a breath and settle in a bit and really put in some laps.
Heck yeah. And additionally, with the change outside of the format of how the schedule is working, we also have a change in the way the actual league is being run in terms of how pit stops work, where now fuel and tires are sequential. And you see that changing the pit strategy at all over the course of the season too seriously, or is it just going to be a yes and on what we already do for endurance weeks from previous seasons?
I don't have a good answer to that. It's going to be exciting to see what people choose. I know, with a 90-minute race, tires aren't too big of a deal depending on what kind of conditions we have and which track. So it's definitely going to, I imagine we're going to see a lot of 2-tire pit stop versus 4.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if we get a hot toasty day at one track, somebody might take a gamble. But yeah, with it only being 90 minutes, I personally, I would not take tires.
Fair enough. I was going to say, I think from most of my experience in the GT3 category, you can usually run those tires a good hour and a half to almost hour and 45 if you really want to.
Yeah, they're usually not complaining.
Mm. The last 15 minutes of the second full stop, though, will tend to be a little bit upset from my experience. But GT3 Pro AM class split, same as last season. The rest of the rule set, as well as our OMEC season, I think is pretty much largely unchanged. Otherwise, still full fuel opportunities, so one good pit stop for this week. As we get into the final 3 minutes of qualifying, let's see if we can snag an onboard lap. Are you good at you want to do a quick walkthrough of the track and the drivers that are alongside a driver that is currently taking a lap there to see what a lap here at Daytona looks like?
Yeah, let's hop in with who do we got here right now?
Doyen, I think, is wrapping up a lap right now.
Sitting P4.
Yeah, see if he has one more in him after this. Nope, he's coming into pit lane. Awesome. Always.
Ooh, speaking of pit lane, the new pit speed limiter rules might come into play.
That's very true.
But yep. So here we go, turn 1. This line's kind of changed a little bit over the last few seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You can't swing out wide anymore, and then with the 3D curbs, I've seen a few people hook it right there and spin out. Coming down into the horseshoe, not much has changed. Just get it slowed down. Make sure you get tight to the apex. Get on the power early. That way you can try to gain some time right here. Then of course we all know the kink, cold tire danger zone. Be careful depending on your setup. And this, man, that turn right there, that I feel like you can take so many different lines. So I'm sure we'll see a few.
Sorry, it reminds me a lot of the final corner of Sebring, where it's like, as long as you get the car out the other end of it, you're usually doing pretty well.
Yeah, that corner is all about minimum speed. It's like if your minimum speed's outside, you're gonna be just fine. And then of course coming back onto the banking, always fun to watch people start squirming around. Especially once the tires get worn. That's another danger spot. But then coming into my poor boy, they ruined them. The bus stop. What have they done? It's tricky. Those curbs now, depending on which car you're in, you're going to see a lot of different lines. I've spent a lot of time in the Lamborghini, and if you touch that curb on exit, you're going to pay for it. Whereas like the Porsche, you could just plow over it and go about your business. But yeah, we kind of all know Daytona. It's always an exciting place to race. You get some draft, and you get to see a big difference in how people set the car up, if they're going for speed or if they want to have some downforce for the infield.
What would your preference be between the two of those if you had to pick between straight line speed or downforce for the infield?
I would say straight line speed, just because if you get in front of someone, in the infield, it is a little tricky to pass. And so you just kind of hold on tight, and if they do happen to get around you, it's like you stand a good chance to get them right back before the start-finish line. So I would definitely go low downforce.
Absolutely. A pretty busy grid today. Total of 35 cars I think we have out on track at one point or another.
That's fantastic.
Looking to get laps set or improve lap times if they haven't already. Landon Orr already slapped with, I think, a black flag for an improper or an unsafe pit exit. So, see him probably peel off here in just a moment. Last few cars here getting lap times in on the board here. James Carnline, one of our GT3 AM drivers. One of a total of 14. Good half the grid in the GT3 AM category. Pro AM Slit, I think, is one of my favorite things about this league. And I think depending on, no matter where, I feel like we've seen, AM drivers, fighting with pro drivers last season. I know you talked about it a bunch with Tim Schafer, who's currently sitting in second still at the end of qualifying here. And his debut AM season, Jaden Carnline punches into his fastest lap time. I think Calvin Collado going to wrap up the qualifying attempt as well and be our last driver on the grid. To make their way down to the grid, I should say. So we'll get a grid set up here in just a moment, and we'll probably see these drivers start their pace lap just before the bus stop or the Le Mans chicane, if you want to use the fancy term. What are the keys to keep in mind or things to keep in mind to be successful over the course of 90 minutes of racing here at Daytona?
Patience. It's very easy, to kind of get flustered when cars start pulling away from you, especially early on, as the field spaces out and settles in. Just kind of keep your head about you and don't toss it away too early. Just kind of let it come to you, get to that first pit stop, and then you can think about racing.
Do you expect any split strategies or anything like that, speaking of the pit stop or the pit cycle?
I don't know. I feel like it seems like quite a few people sometimes short fill a little bit here at the start just to get to that sooner. Maybe try to get a little bit more speed, shed the weight. So yeah, no, it's going to be exciting to watch, see who makes it the longest, and then keep an eye and see who takes tires.
All right. I'm curious. Yeah, it is also curious to see, especially with that new sequential tires and fuel rule, how that changes the pit strategies for these drivers and how long they'll be in pit lane as a result of no longer being able to kind of take 2 tires and fill up on fuel like we've seen in previous seasons.
Not to mention the new, pit speed limiter that they introduced this season.
What does that
hopefully
change?
everybody practice.
Yeah,
it seems to be, I don't know, a bit more realistic.
Okay.
The car kind of bobs around a little bit, and you get those fluctuations in speed, especially if you kind of modulate the throttle at all. So you just got to really be steady on the throttle. Anytime you change gears like you used to be able to get a little bit more speed out of it. Pretty much a black flag situation. And then at Watkins Glen, I noticed on pit entry, it kind of varies a little bit. I haven't quite got it figured out, but it seems a bit more sensitive to the black flags on entry.
Interesting. So it'll be a little bit more likely to kick over to and give you a penalty because it will try to overspeed essentially a little bit too much.
Yes. Okay. And then just it seems like overall the timing is a bit more strict.
And how it calculates whether or not you're speeding on pit lane seems like a bit of an interesting one. Curious to see how that'll impact any of these drivers who gets caught out by it. I have to imagine most of these drivers probably pretty well and sorted on where that's at. But let's see. I'm assuming it's interesting to me. So thank you for giving me a more robust rundown than I had I briefly looked at the whole the quick notes on it, but I did not really internalize how that meant and what that changed from a experience standpoint as well as what the drivers will be seeing on the track here. Speaking of,
it was a big change.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how everybody fares with it. Hopefully pretty well. Speaking of drivers on track, grid for this race afternoon. 35 cars on the grid, starting off in the GT3 Pro category. Nick Tyrrell, is going to lead us off with Tim Schaefer going to be alongside in road number 1. William LeMaster alongside Michael Doyen for road number 2 and 3rd and 4th. 5th is going to be Tony Caicedo alongside Kevin Hayes in 5th and 6th. KOC Jones, Luke Plaisance in 7th and 8th. Nate Sides and Kelvin Collado in the top 10. Darrell Weininger is going to lead off the GT3 AM category from 11th overall alongside Josh King. I'm going to see if I can burn through the rest of these real fast before we get too far into this. In 13th, Matt Markley alongside Sergey Perot. Zachary Holden and Joe Evers going to be in 15th and 16th. Nico Bozzolo as well as Tom Leeson rounding out 17th and 18th. Keith Gwinnett is going to be in 19th there, as well as Charles Rose in 20th. Jen Campbell going to be in 21st there, with Ben Widener in 22nd. Tyler Roberts and Caleb Rodriguez, is going to be in the 12th row of the grid. And last but certainly not least, Wesley Woods, James Carline in 25th, 26th. Ken Duvall, Trevor Peterson, Grayson Parks, Adam Dahl, Dale Marshall, Tyler Thomas, Dan Griffin, Jared Petit, as well as Landon Orr round out that 35-car grid. It's going to be a busy and hectic race here. Have to see how well they get underway here. Waiting for that green flag once the BMW M2 pace car peels into pit lane. And we'll get under green flag racing here in just a moment as I get the rest of these drivers into their corrective spots. Green flag going to be in the air here as these drivers peel away. Great launch out of Nick Tyrrell as well as the rest of the field. And they all are going to bottle into turn number 1. Top 10 so close together, but the rest of the field spanning out just behind them as they all pile on into turn number 1. Everybody seeming to have a pretty smooth entry so far as they get down into the International Horseshoe is the first one, right?
Yes. Correct. Oh, we got a spin.
A couple more are going to get caught up in that as well. With Sergey Perot going to be going actually around the wrong direction. A few more drivers are going to be taking corrective action to not get involved with that. Nico Bozzolo going to be tagged in the process. But the rest of the field, I think, doing pretty well to be continuing going the right direction.
Yeah, looks like only 2 cars really affected there, so not too bad.
Keep an eye on where we have a bunch of close battles moving their way up a host of positions already. Let's say is your teammate, Dan Griffin, and a Corvette this season.
A black unpainted Corvette. at that.
He is driving sans the team colors this season. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, new job. Haven't been able to get a car painted yet.
Fair enough. Could go too wide with Tom Leeson into the braking zone of Le Mans chicane. That bus stop, both of them going to float themselves out in order to be going the right direction. Pretty solid defense there out of Tom Leeson in the process as well.
It's like Jim Campbell spun coming out of Le Mans chicane, collected, and Jared kind of fun avoiding them, but they look to be back on track, all okay.
Yeah, James Carline going to drive into pit lane early on here. See if I get a quick replay of that. What happened with Jim Campbell there? Going into the bus stop. I wonder if it's just too much throttle here on the exit over those curbs. You were talking about how dangerous they can be, and that's where James Carline got involved there. That's why he's in the pit lane as well, as his front bumper got a little bit tagged there. Do get a fast repair for these drivers, though. I think that'll keep them going the right direction, if possible. But Jim Campbell looks like he's pretty unscathed after all that.
Yeah, that those 3D curves, especially those triangle small pieces, they're brutal.
Yeah, they definitely seem to be, and ideally, we'll see how well they work out here in a little bit. Got the whole field getting through the first lap. Otherwise, battles breaking up just a little bit. I wanted to take a quick look from the onboard alongside Casey Jones. Did you feel for driving through this bus stop and the chicane? Because it is, I think, one of the more fun parts of this track that is so much more enjoyable when you get to see the onboard and the technicality of it all, plus the whole getting such a good shot of the top about 6, 7, 8 drivers or so from this angle as well, all pretty much together with the exception of Nick Tyrrell, who's a whole second and a half ahead of Tim Schaefer, who's pending off both William LeMaster and Michael Doyen in that battle up in the podium spots there. If you're Michael Doyen in the tail end of these three, I'll move up a little bit and take a ride on board with him. Where do you think the play gets made? I say that as he's making one. Oh, Tony Caicedo going to find himself outside of that, looks like. Oh.
Yeah,
It's going to be Kevin Hayes there.
Easy, fellas.
2 laps of elapsed. We are now free to throw out the elbows, it seems.
Tires warmed up, elbows came out.
Yeah, certainly seems that way. So back to the question I had before all the chaos began.
Yeah, with Michael Doyen, man, he's putting in a good drive so far. He qualified well. I would, if I was in his shoes right now, I would try to work with Tim. Don't battle each other. Try to keep Nick from running away with it. Which looks like they're about to go too wide into the chicane.
Not the thing I think you were. The inverse of what you were saying would be the wise decision there.
Is that my first commentator curse right there?
Well, as far as they go, probably not the worst one. So I'll say yes, just the way you've broken the ice. And that way, the next time you do it, you can say that, well, at least it's, not the first one, and therefore not the most explosive. Or conversely.
Hey, they both still live to tell the tale, so I guess it wasn't bad.
No, not that bad. But Michael Doyen almost had a huge snap oversteer coming out of that second chicane, too. There's so much curving that he took in the process. And this battle here has continued to allow Nick Tyrrell to keep the momentum he has about a second and a half ahead of these 3 drivers. Nate Syed's going to slide on in as well.
Really says a lot about Tim and Michael's pace, though, the fact that they're kind of, jabbing each other a little bit, and the guys behind aren't catching them. They got those Porsches running fast.
So I think much like we've talked about here earlier, the low downforce setups for these guys going to be, I think, what has given them a whole bunch of time and pace here. Caicedo going to make a move further back here. and Matt Markley.
Starting that recovery.
Let's see what happened to him. He went off, only got labeled as an off track here. I'll take a quick look back. This is turn number 1. Casey Jones gets into the side.
Oh,
yeah.
Contact.
A little bit there, and then Tony might want to make it worse, tries to catch it, and thankfully keeps it out of the barrier. So, heck of a catch there from him. And then
Yeah, when things went sideways, he did a good job keeping it off those barriers.
Absolutely. Did you catch any of what happened between Kevin Hayes and William Master as well? Shortly out, like in the middle of this, or?
I did. It looked like Kevin was expecting a little bit more space. I think William kind of didn't run it. Yeah, he didn't track out quite as wide as normal, and Kevin just was expecting to be somewhere else. Just kind of a little bit of a racing incident. Can't really blame Kevin for that at all. He was. You expect more room, so but they doesn't look like too much damage.
Yeah, nobody ended up in the wall. I think that back left there will probably hurt him a little bit in that straight line speed. But we'll have to see how that ends up working against Dale Weininger. Now under fire from Tony Caicedo. It's going to be, I think it's super interesting. I'm curious to see what the pit cycle looks like with this new pit regulations as well. And the mix up there. That gap.
I think we've got what? Probably 45 minutes to go before we start seeing that.
At least another 20 to 30 before we even enter the window of where you can fuel up and then be safe to the end. So plenty of opportunities, but you have some of the drivers taking early pit stops to kind of prepare cars and get damage out of the way, which will, I think, cause it to be a little bit of a different cycle of put them off the pit cycle versus the rest of the field. That'll be all on, I think, a similar pit cycle going into this.
So looking at the top speeds here, those Porsches are flying right now. Looks like top speed of 288 from Michael Doyen versus Nick Tyrrell's 277. Is that correct?
That looks correct. A little bit.
It's a big delta.
Michael Doyen put the fastest lap in by half a second of improvement over Nick Tyrrell's fastest time, which was the same lap as well. So half a second faster for Michael Doyen is pretty darn quick. And Tim Shaver seemed to be losing a little bit of pace here. I think those tires might be a little bit upset with him based on the heat. The track temp has been increasing, I think, just a little bit over time. Pull that track temp out. Not much, though. Still I think, a quite balmy 86 degrees on the track. 76 in Fahrenheit, or in the air, excuse me. Both of those temperatures in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, Michael's going to be tightening up that gap. He's going to be battling for the lead here in a few more laps. Keeps this up.
Tony Caicedo going to get around Dale. What you got?
One thing I was looking at, let's see, who's in new cars? I see Nate Sides switching from the Corvette to the Ferrari. That's interesting.
Yeah, Tim Shaver in the Porsche this season after being in the Mustang, I think, the last one. Casey Jones also jumping to the Ferrari, another one of your teammates.
Yeah, I was looking at Discord. I think he may have done that by mistake. I don't know if you caught that. Yeah, he said he joined and wasn't really thinking. He was thinking he was going to be able to switch cars for some reason. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out the rest of the season.
Okay, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It'd be a fun thing to see how much Casey will, I think, develop over time as a result. Ferrari is by far one of my favorite GT3s, out of especially the mid-engine GT3s, just because I think it's very fun and stable. But
sounds good too.
That's true, yeah. It's also super enjoyable. Some people, I feel it's either, people really kind of either love it or I think it's kind of the blandest of the mid-engine GT3s, but it's one I personally enjoy quite a fair bit. I'll jump back and take a look at these two. Dan Griffin catching up to Kevin Hayes.
See if the Corvette's able to keep up with some draft here.
Especially given that McLaren really comes down, I believe, to setup at this point for this part of the banking.
Yeah, it looks like they might be running close to the same kind of downforce setup, so it should be a pretty even battle. Looks like he gets a pretty decent run coming out of here, but Kevin's got help in front of him, so
the brick of that Mustang in front of both of them going to think even out the draft battle part of the equation. Michael Dolan still cutting more and more time out. Less this lap than the last couple, but still a couple tenths faster than Nick Tyrrell was. So less than a second now between those two drivers up front. A four-way fight as Tony Caicedo really checks up. Darrell Weininger, unfortunately, a little bit left hung out to dry, but it's going to make it almost a two-wide fight. But Darrell's going to back out and let them keep fighting it out. As he realizes he doesn't need to be in that fight exactly, as he's a GT3 AM driver, still 2.5 seconds ahead of Ken Duvall, who's the next driver in that class.
What a gentleman.
Tony's a little
yeah,
wide.
this gap's staying steady. Very evenly matched. I know the McLaren's kind of come to life a little bit since the new BOP and the new update. Oh, he went a little wide.
Yeah, it's going to mean they're going to go too wide onto the backstretch. Tony's going to unfortunately give, I think, the run to Dan Griffin as a result. Not by much, but by enough. Just because he'll have the draft.
Yeah, he's got it clear. I think Kevin backed out and showing a little bit of patience there. Just no need to fight, especially going into the chicane. Just try to hook up with Dan and keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
It's like they're both starting. They're both moving. Oh,
change that equation real quick. Dan Griffin taking too much of that curb, like you've mentioned. I've seen him come to a screeching halt.
yeah, the outside curb too. That car, which he and I were talking, that's one of the bad things about the Corvette is the front end. Looks like he's struggling with it. I'm not sure how much time he put into the setup, but it's not agreeing with it.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that recovery drive ends up coming by. I'll take a look back at a couple of crashes that we've had over the course of this here in a little bit. We have a quick eye on both of our kind of podium fights that are happening. One for the win between Michael Dolan and Nick Tyrrell right now. Still about a few tenths gained in terms of raw pace and lap time. About half a second still between those two drivers, and even less of that for the two drivers that are fighting for the bottom step of the podium between Tim Schaefer and Nate Sides. As we cross the 15-minute mark, our 1/6 distance. There we go.
Looks like the battle for the AM lead is going to be tightening up too, down to about 1.5 seconds currently.
I think Darrell's just being as patient as he can be. Also, Zachary Holden catching up, I think, to Charles Rotes.
Here comes Michael. He's got that good draft now.
Yeah, he does.
Porsche is fast.
Oh. Resetting the fastest lap of the race there for Michael Dolan.
Yeah, Nick's gonna have his hands full here. Like I said, going through the infield, I think he's safe. But watch when we get back to the speedway. I feel like there's gonna be a pass here shortly. That's such a cool shot. I like the on car shots like that.
Yeah, it's one of the fun ones. It's great for specifically this turn, and then I have to. It's a lot easier to do a different onboard one because otherwise you lose the context of the car in front that you're looking to kind of showcase.
That one probably be good for the chicane too to get to see that suspension go to work. Yeah, see Nick Terrell, he's opening up that gap on the infield, but Doyen's going to close it right back up. He's just got to hang with him a little bit through the infield, and he's got him. Ooh. Nick kind of got out wide too, almost in gripping territory.
Kept it close though, but this gap just seems to be just disappearing. As Michael Doyen just kind of lets that Porsche rip down the start-finish line. Oh. I think Nick Tyrrell's also playing maybe a bit of a fuel game.
Yeah, nothing you can do with that when that car gets that big that fast in your mirror. you just gotta point them on by, let them go. Yeah, Nick always plays a fuel game, doesn't he? He seems to always go like a lap longer.
That's definitely a part of. I feel like every time I've seen both him as well as Nate Sides will do their best to make that happen. Speaking of battles that I think have yet to be resolved too seriously, Nate Sides still trying to chase down Tim Schaefer for this other battle on the podium.
They have closed in on Tyrrell as well.
Yeah, not by too much, but by about a couple tenths still. As both of them are setting mid 145s, and Nick Tyrrell's most recent lap was a 145.88, and fastest still was still a few hundredths to about a tenth and a half for the speed of Nate Sides. A lot of drivers switched to the Ferrari this season. Nick Tyrrell as well.
Looks like we have maybe 3 new drivers in it? 4 from new to OMEC, right? Josh King.
Yep. Yeah, Josh
Keith
King,
Gwinnett.
Keith Gwinnett. Grayson Parks. At least is a new face that I haven't seen in a while, if not fully new.
Okay.
Trevor Peterson, one of the newer ones. Nico Rizzolo, returning from last season, but not after a bunch of that. Dale Marshall, as well as James Carline, are also drivers we've seen less of. Speaking of, Tyler Thomas amongst those cars in lap traffic, who's come into pit lane already.
Word is getting out how awesome this league is.
That it seems to be. People seem to be continuing to enjoy it. I want to jump back a little bit ways. This 3-way battle, I think, for the 6th through 8th spots. It's going to be 2 teammates, William Master as well as Luke Plaisance of the Prestige Motorsports crew. And then they're joined by Kelvin Collado, as they are all duking it out for these positions in the top 10.
Speaking of new, Tyler Thomas seems to think he's parking it. That was that car we saw kind of spin out coming onto the oval. Here we go again.
You hear Luke Plaisance lift out of it to allow his teammate through.
Do you think they were talking to each other, planning that out, or?
I think it was one of those things where if they weren't already talking about it, it was definitely one they probably had the quick moment of, well, let's not be rude to teammates and, you know, actually make sure we survive all this. As Kelvin Galato wants to make himself known amongst all that. He might go for 2 around the outside, but it's almost going to make it a 3 wide as they go into turn number 1. Got to pare it down at some point.
Watch the curbs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, Kelvin looked like he backed out.
I think he probably...
He had the door was wide open for him to send it right there.
Mm. I would say probably it's better to have the patience to not end up inside the door of Luc Plaisance, though. It's going to be a wide exit for Kelvin. Let's see if the straight line speed helps him at all.
That looks like he's got that Ferrari trimmed out quite a bit as well with the same top speed as the Porsches.
Mm. Whole host of cars further back in the field as well, all diving into battles for position.
Looks like the AM battle for 1 and 2 is right there with each other within a second.
Yeah, about a second apart. No longer any other cars battling each other. Dale Leininger, however, going to be battling with Matt Markley for overall positions. Dan Griffin, take a look at him as he trying to work his way past Joe Evers.
How high? What position was he in when he spun? Do you recall?
Spun right after battling with Kevin Hayes, which I think was 10th in GT3 Pro. I think it was about 11th overall. See, he was getting that move done with Kevin Hayes to get into the top 10, so has a couple more spots to recover from where he's been highest so far in this race. All going to let him through, I think. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Little tap at the brakes. But not too many Mercedes.
I think it's one of 2 that I've seen, both Ken Duvall as well as James Conline, the 2 drivers that have those this season.
Out of the GT3 cars, which one would you say is your favorite?
My favorite, the one that I have, I think, the most nostalgia for is the Mercedes. It's the one I did the Spa 24, I think 2023, which was my first 24-hour endurance race I did ever. Was in a Mercedes GT3, so I always had a soft place in my heart for it. But between that and the Corvette, because of the real life counterpart I have of a 68 Corvette, it's definitely, those are my 2. If I had to pick one or the other. All 3 of them really. This is going to be a battle
around the outside.
Oh, he's got to stick it though. Darrell Leininger has to actually fight this one, because these 2 are going to be battling out for overall position, but both overall as well as in-class position for the lead of the GT3 AM category. Ken Duvall getting the binders on to keep that car out of the wall, as well as each other. Joe Evers right hot on their heels as well. He's going to be battling for overall positions amongst all these, as well as trying to stay ahead of Josh King, who is right behind him in the GT3 Pro category.
Start calling him Quick Hands Duvall. That was a good little save.
That it certainly was. Fantastic driving out of really both of them to keep those cars going the right direction. What is your preferred GT3, if you have one?
That's a Lamborghini. I mean, it's just got a lot of good memories in it, and it's a car that kind of just responds to your inputs really well. once you kind of learn it, no other car really gives you that feeling. It seems to be a bit more lightweight, even though it's not the lightest car. Oddly enough, the Mustang is, even though the Mustang drives like it's the heaviest. Yeah, it's weird how that works out. But yeah, I would say Lamborghini. Oh, Deval. Whoa.
Whoa. Hey.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Is that the incident limit? Wait. No? What?
No, I don't see a black flag.
I don't see a black flag either. Maybe just some about that bump causes Sim to crash? All right. We'll have to come back to that here in a moment.
That's a shame. He was... Man. Hate to see that.
Mm-hmm. That marked the getting passed by Dan Griffin. A few other battles still floating around the wings as we are closing in on the 1/3 distance mark. 30 minutes of our hour and 30 or 90-minute endurance race to open up the season, reaching its natural conclusion. Michael Doyen plateauing off in terms of pace as well. Top 4 as we last saw them, and about as far as we last saw them all back then as well.
Yeah, it's been rock solid, I think. Once Nick got some of that draft going, he's able to hang with that Porsche, and he's saving the fuel. And then Tim is hanging right there steady with him. So
Nate Side's almost giving him a bum draft going into the bus stop. Trying to see if they can catch up to some multi-class traffic. They have the lap traffic of Landon Orr. Big jump off of the curbs, though. Will cause Nate to, I think, have to reclaim it. He got that car back up.
Yeah, now anytime you're coming out of the chicane and you're staring up at the plane landing, something's went wrong. Who just drove into pit lane there?
That was, I believe, Landon Orr coming in for a black flag for, I think, incident limit. I had to guess. As they get into a little bit of lap traffic here.
Let's see here. Kelvin's still trying to get past Luke.
Oh yeah, this battle hasn't gone anywhere either. Has it? One of, I think, a good handful that are still being resolved. Is there, if you're in kind of Kelvin's shoes, or you're in the process of trying to pass someone, trying to do it cleanly, are you trying to look for the mistake, or are you trying to force one out there? Oh my gosh.
Apparently we're trying to force one.
That's fair. Yep.
Yeah. Now let's go with the force play.
Yep.
And
Okay.
just make the other driver make a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I mean that's what it takes. If you're gonna pull that move, you got to be committed and really putting the pressure on the other guy, and he chose well. Which I think he was. I honestly think, Luke was probably a bit tired of seeing him in his mirror, and that stress lap after lap after lap.
Well, Luke's gonna send it up the inside to return the favor. Let's see that over under.
Ignore what I'm saying. These guys are here to fight.
Yep. In all that fighting, they brought Tony Caicedo back into the mix after his earlier incident. So now it becomes a three-way fight.
Some good aggressive driving. 30 minutes into the race.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm sure all these drivers, seeing the way the cars are moving around, are taking full advantage of the new traction control.
Yeah, they refactored how that all kicks in, if I remember correctly, correct?
Yes, it feels good.
Okay.
It was a bit to get used to. You got to use a few different settings, but it actually feels like traction control now.
No longer like the LaCroix of traction control.
Right.
Luke Plaisant's not giving any room. As we ride on board with Tony Caicedo, who's about to have an opportunity himself to get around Kelvin Collado. I think has come out the worst of the wear of the bunch.
2 laps in a row of seeing him move into the chicane. That's these guys are here to race.
They certainly are. It's also, I think, a battle brewing up at the lead of the race, but I don't want to look away from these three, really. It's curious to see. Late on the brakes for Kelvin. Ends up going really wide as a result.
Inside, outside, he's going to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Hayes, a little far away in the background of that one, but definitely wants to make himself known to this fight. Let's see, Plaisance is on the radio. What was the word verbiage there?
I do believe he threw out the please don't murder me.
Tony Caicedo's reputation continues amongst the OMEC community.
It's going to be tough to hang with that Porsche.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. As they go too wide into this. And that's going to tip.
Oh, no.
Luke Plaisance. He's going to catch it and spin it around the other way. Thankfully, keeps everybody out of it.
Wow.
He's going to get that car across the track and moving once again.
No damage. That is impressive.
That's wild. I'll take a quick look from let's see here. Yeah, too wide into this. And the curbing is what catches Tony Caicedo out, and that's just enough, along with a little bit of netcode there, to kick Luke sideways. He then catches it, keeps it out of the wall. And good heads up driving out of both Kelvin as well as Kevin Hayes to keep that car from having issues. Oh, man. Pandemonium back here in GT3 AM as well. Let's keep going up. And Tom Leeson are battling it out for what is now the other two spots of the podium.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My in-game voice chat was turned up a bit too loud.
Oh, no.
Couldn't really hear what was going on.
All good. Taking a brief moment. Check in on the GT3 AM podium. Keep going up, as well as Tom Leeson battling out the CTD entry, one of our four newcomers from that team. CTD Tejas, as well as CTD Floridas. I need to figure out what way to say it where I'm not getting ourselves copyright infringement for saying Florida too close to the artist that goes by the handle Florida.
Yeah, you'll get it taken down real quick.
Yeah, that's my goal. My goal not to do that. So these three in a battle. It's kind of spread out a little bit. I want to take a look at the battle for the lead here. It's Tim Schaefer looking to make a pass down into turn number one. Nick Tyrrell, I think, going to tell him to swing on by that radio comm.
How about the drive from the rookie?
For Tim Schaefer
Can we call him a rookie? Yeah.
I mean, it's his rookie season in the pro category, so you probably could. This is, I think, second or third season with us, if I remember correctly. Back into the position he started in second. And I was having a pretty heckin' busy time. William Master also just patiently in the background of all this, as well as lap traffic.
Looks like everybody's gonna take a breather, spread out a little bit, and get ready for the pit stops. Hopefully.
Say anywhere from I think here at about the hour mark is when we'll see pit stops start to trickle in. Soon we'll see a good host of them at the hour mark itself.
I wonder how Nick Tyrrell's feeling right now. I know it's kind of aggravating when you pull out at the start of a race and then you kind of find yourself starting to fall behind a little bit. It can play some mental games, but he's a tough driver. He's knowing his strategy. He's probably right where he wants to be.
I think
he's
so.
Like, this is perfect.
No, it's exactly where he wants to be. As long as he's hitting his fuel numbers, I'm sure he's probably pretty happy. Tony Caicedo and this gap. All three of these drivers started to build out a little bit of a gap. Tim Shaver having a bit of a faster run through that final corner before the banking. Curious to see as well this battle further back in the field. Once again, that top 10, Kevin Hayes, Tony Caicedo, Kelvin Collado, just making their way onto the banking now. As Kevin Hayes getting 145.49. Tony Caicedo going to have the faster straight line speed in the Porsche, but has the outside line as they come into contact. A little bit of scrape there, but it looks like everyone's no worse for wear. Tony, I think, probably not the happiest on the radio there.
Yeah, I feel like somebody's going to be getting a bill for that little bit of contact and paint scrape.
He's caught back up to him again exiting the bus stop.
Really showing off that speed, but
Kevin's got the inside. Yeah. See if the over-under does him any well. A little bit of a bump draft there. Kevin playing the defensive line in turn number 1. Kelvin almost sticks his nose in that closing door.
I just got to say, these guys are driving awesome. To be just, battling and pushing, and nobody's really, we've had some little touching and beating and banging, but they're keeping it together, and it's exciting to watch.
Heck yeah.
Not to mention, it's like there's a unmarked black Corvette lurking in the background.
I think Dan Griffin wants to rejoin this fight. Saw him earlier battling with Kevin Hayes prior to an unceremonious slide out of the bus stop where Mosh came. Nico Vazzolo going to jump to the pits as well. We have a handful of, I think, incidents we've had here in a little while. But the racing between a lot of these drivers is too good to pass up. Let's see if there's going to be a look out of these three. There might be a battle, I think, for the lead of this race based on I'm seeing right there. Tim Schaefer has made the pass for P1. Let's take a look at this one. As they come roaring down the start-finish stretch. Too wide. That straight line speed out of Tim Schaefer at the exit of the bus stop just makes it look almost like Michael Doyen's got a pit limiter on.
Yeah, no, he's sounded like he was struggling a little bit this past week in the officials, so I'm sure he's very determined to put in a good drive, and he's leading the race right now.
Yeah, could open up a few tenth gap there early on. Very fantastic one at that. I would say if these three weren't still tearing it up for the positions just inside the top 10. Taking a look back as well, but these ones still the closest battle on track for the GT3 Pro until we get back to Joe Evers, Luke Plaisance, Kelvin Collado still looking for that opportunity there, but has to lift a little bit. Overcorrected trying to get that car going the right direction. Yeah, just the straight line speed out of the Porsche from all the Porsches I think on this race has been quite high. Kelvin hitting out in the background. Kevin Hayes making Tony go around the long way through each time through the bus stop.
Oh. Kelvin spun on entry.
Oh. I think he kept it out of the wall. Let's see if I have a better angle on that one. I think he's a little late on the brakes there, it looks like, and then he just adds the rotation in.
It is so easy to do that whenever it's so close. Whenever it seems like whenever you have cars in front of you battling, sometimes you kind of get focused on watching them and lose exactly where you're at on track and make a small mistake. And there he goes. I've done the same thing.
Yeah, it seems so frequent. These 7 cars now all battling it out for various positions. Zachary Holden catching up to Keith Gwinnett in the tail end of this for the 3rd spot on the GT3 AM podium. These 2 drivers duking it out once again. How's the I haven't done the roll bar for this car. Ooh, that one's nice. I didn't realize the rearview mirror camera was up there for the Acura. I guess I haven't been on the board with the Acura too much this season.
Yeah, try not to. It's
enough.
Probably my least favorite.
Why? What makes it your least favorite? I am curious.
Oh man, it's gonna sound kind of weird, but just the fact that it doesn't race anymore.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and I mean, I'm kind of a Honda fan. I've had a S2000. But yeah, I think just the fact that it doesn't race anymore and it just the engine noise is kind of dull. Just some dumb reasons, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's all personal preference. Zachary Holden using it to fight with Keith Gwinnett for that bottom step of the podium. Still. Joe Weininger trying to let Plaisance on by into the turn number 1. So he still has another 2 seconds back to Tom Leeson, who is another 2 seconds ahead of that battle we just were at. Whole host of cars here. Luke Plaisance all the way back to Josh King, battling for various spots. Matthew Markley going to be losing out a spot there as Josh King goes lunging up the inside. He's going to have to go too wide with Matt Markley until he gets that button down. Halfway through the race, 45 minutes done, 45 minutes to go. What's the mentality shift, if any, at the halfway?
Well, depending on how your race is going up to this point, either you're trying to just keep doing what you're doing, or you're starting to hit the panic button a little bit. You can find yourself having fallen behind a little bit. You're going to start pressing and trying to make it happen, which, I mean, the action we've seen, I feel like everybody's kept that button pressed the whole race. So, but coming into the pit stop, it's like you're starting to think about that. Probably starting to look at your fuel, getting everything set up, getting ready for those cycles to come through, and really try to plan out a strong finish.
I feel like that's always such a fun, easy thing in theory, but I think doing the numbers in practice is always a different, I wouldn't say fully different conversation, but one that you always have to, I think, take with a different grain of salt due to like the nature of, depending on where you actually end up amongst all of that.
And due to the nature of the new fuel calculator with iRacing, sounded good in theory, but it is broken, so hopefully nobody's trusting it right now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Unless they fixed it with the last patch that came out what? Tuesday?
Thursday of last week, I think it was.
Yeah. I haven't tested it since then, but I do know it was a little bit off there at first, so hopefully they fixed it though. These guys are keeping that gap to Dan. Dan's not catching up to him right now.
Not at the moment. I think Tony has finally decided not to try to fight Kevin Hayes into the bus stop for the first time in about 5 laps.
I have seen more moves into the bus stop in this race than I have the last, 3 Daytona 24s put together.
Tom Leeson. Slow run through there. What happened, Tom Leeson? Take a look here. Oh, big slide out of Tom Leeson. Catches it. Keeps it going, but it's going to cost him, I think, that podium spot that he was on right that second. These two now battling for the bottom 2 steps of the podium. Zachary Holden's going to slide, try to go around the outside. See if he has the crossover.
I was hoping to see headlights dive up the inside right there.
Big Zachary Holden playing it safe, waiting for the mistake to come out of that.
Yeah, the other thing to think about is, who's in this for the championship long haul and who's just in it for, a race by race thing. So there's one thing we learned from last season is it's never too early to start thinking about the championship.
That is so true.
Especially with those safety bonus points are still in effect, right?
Yeah, that they are. That has not changed from previous seasons, so you still get a bonus for having under 8x, 7x or less, if I remember correctly. Take a quick look up at the lead of this race. Michael Doyen almost alongside. I think decided to back out of it. Maybe playing a fuel game, much like we see a lot of some parts of the field doing. Michael Doyen half a second faster, 0.3 faster this most recent time by than Tim Schaefer.
Yeah, I would really love to see these guys go nose to tail and see what kind of gap. They're going to have to put a gap more than, 1.8 in front of Tyrrell, because after that pit stop, they're probably going to be looking at Nick's bumper again. If they keep this up, they need to work together.
Yeah, and Tim Schaefer seems to be sliding that car a little bit more too, which is why he's costing both of them a little bit of time. And then Michael Doyen trying to figure out where
terrifying.
Tim Schaefer is. It's always super terrifying. When you're the car that isn't blinking and you see a car that is blinking, what is the concern there?
I don't know. You kind of just panic. You kind of just hope that they just don't reappear right inside your cockpit. That's so hard to judge. If you've been following a guy for a while, you hopefully kind of know his line. And Daytona is nice, because the track's so wide in a lot of spots. But I don't know. You just kind of hope and pray.
Fair. Tim Schaefer going to dive into pit lane. You're first of our on-cycle drivers to do so. Guess I'm trying to triage whatever the heck is happening there for him. He's still blinking pretty hard. Sure, bring an end to the fight for the lead for the moment. Does keep this fight now for the podium, or at least what will be the net bottom spot on the podium, alive for the moment.
Yeah, I feel like both of these guys are just sitting here counting down the laps, waiting for that pit stop to happen.
Mm-hmm. They've got, what, another 10 minutes or so until they have to come in. Ooh. Tim Schaefer with a meatball flag. What?
Is that something
it's
happened on
probably a
pit road?
connectivity flag that gets erroneously labeled as a meatball flag on our end.
True.
Cap there opening way out for those drivers. This will probably see the two of them go too wide.
Giving each other plenty of room. Safety for let him go by.
Yeah. Zachary Holden, Tom Leeson. Two drivers that have been driving in the AM Cup before the AM Championship, before having plenty of opportunities there. A few other drivers diving into pit lane to get their pit stops done. Charles Rotes, Keith Winup from the AM category, joining a few of those out on there. Michael Doyen going to come in from the lead of the race, along with William Master and Casey Jones, as well as Tony Caicedo. Good host of the field working their way in to get their pit stops complete. Curious to see how long they stay on pit lane. Oh, William Master misses his box.
Cars are staying on the ground, though, so
I think fuel is done first and then tires, or tires first and then fuel?
I believe you're right. I think it is fuel then tires.
See how long these pit strategies put in to play most of the field out of the GT3s. Oh, there is the jump up onto the jacks for Michael Doyen as he gets a set of tires. Same for William Master. Casey Jones going to jump both of them by not taking tires out of this.
That's the play.
Pit cycle. We're going to see only 2 tires, I think, for both Tony Caicedo as well as William Master. Actually, I don't think any tires for Tony Caicedo. 2 tires for William Master. Michael Doyen's going to be coming out here shortly after, along with a few other drivers. I'm super curious how that'll impact his final results there, because a huge portion of the field looks like it's not going to be taking tires.
Curious to see what if he was planning on doing that, or if maybe he was feeling something he didn't like with the car. We are getting closer to noon in sim, so I'm sure the track's getting a little warmer. Maybe just want a little bit more comfort level to finish off strong.
That sounds, I think, probably ideal, especially you don't have to then worry about tires at all, because they will happily go, I think, 90 minutes. I think they also, if you take care of them, they'll do it easily. If you don't take care of them, they aren't super thrilled with the last 10 or so minutes, if I'm not mistaken, of those 90 minutes. The rest of the field going to work its way in to pit lane. For all those drivers that did not come in last lap, looks like they're coming in this lap. Nick Tyrrell, Kevin Hayes, Nate Sides, Luke Plaisance, as well as Joe Evers, Matt Markley, Dan Griffin. Whole host of drivers that have not come in already going to be coming in this lap. I think we're going to see maybe one stay out, and that's going to be, I think, Tyler Roberts, who's going to go an extra lap over all these drivers. It's a bit of an overcut.
That is impressive.
But I think we see 20 seconds, 7 seconds of a pit lane time for Nick Tyrrell, Nate Sides, and 30 seconds. Kevin Hayes, 28 seconds. So most of these drivers not taking tires. So I'm curious to see how far ahead they end up being to Michael Doyen. I think the answer is pretty darn far.
Yes.
Because of the 20 seconds of difference of Michael Doyen taking tires.
Yeah, that put looks like Casey Jones was the the big winner on that move. I think he came in, what was it, a few spots behind Michael, and came out a good bit ahead. So he's going to be chasing down a podium spot.
Yeah, he's going to make up 10 seconds, however, in these final 34 minutes, or 33 and a half. Kevin Hayes, Dan Griffin continuing their fight from earlier. Jim Campbell going to be marked with an incident there after having a moment. That's going to be coming out onto the banking. Just going to have to get back into it slowly. Hop up high. Get that car going in the right direction once again.
It looks like he was on cold tires according to his pit length. So
yeah, a lap down for most of the field. In for a minute and 1 second in the pit box. So these drivers working through as well. Luke Plaisant's going to be kind of ahead of Tom Leeson and Zachary Holden. They continue their fight for the other two podium spots on the GT3M category.
Darrell with an 11-second lead.
Yeah, just I think a fantastic bit of consistency out of Darrell is going to keep him ahead of the rest of the GT3 field and well into the the GT3M field and well into the GT3 Pro field. I think he'd be fighting with Ken Duvall if Ken Duvall didn't have whatever incident, technical issue took him out of the race. Calvin Collado labeled with a crash as well. That looks a lot less kind to that front end. That front end looks very upset. Let's take a look. See what happened there. I think the answer is that exit curb caught him pretty hard. Oh, yep.
Yeah, he just hooked that inside right there. That's so touchy. If he was actually further to his right, he would have been okay. It's like you either got to cut it or miss it. But if you just dip that sidewall on the inside of that curb, it does not like it.
Seems like a couple of spots now that if you actually get the tire over the curb, it hooks it really hard and unsettles the car. You're talking about the similar issue happening in the curbing of corners 2 and 3 right after that initial kind of turn one dive onto the infield.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, I think that was a good change iRacing made. It was. Oh, we got Kevin Hayes making a move.
Kevin Hayes going to be flying around the outside of Casey Jones. Dan Griffin hot on both of their heels, but Casey Jones not going to lift much at all. I almost thought
you got to watch that Griffin fella. He likes to take people out in turn one right there.
You would have no experience with that, would you?
No, none at all. Don't know what I'm talking about.
Definitely not in a night race on the last lap.
Nah.
No.
That sounds totally foreign to me.
I was a little concerned I was going to see a repeat of 100 force on 100 force crimes.
Does it count if they're on unmarked cars?
Given that, I would say I know Dan Griffin is in the team, despite being in an unmarked car. Maybe.
I'd say Kevin can gather it up and get it. Oh, that's
the rewind.
Interesting choice Casey made.
Yeah, I think you wanted to get a little bit of a draft there, but I think it was at the expense of just track position. Kevin Hayes now is the inside line. Who's going to back out of it? Wesley Wood's going to be the first one, wisely to do so. Casey Jones, unfortunately, going to have to pick up the pieces there. Dan Griffin right on the tail there. He's going to go to.
Oh, I know Casey is not happy about that.
I'm sure probably not the most thrilled.
Kevin is going to hopefully check out and Get away from these guys.
And it seems they're trying to keep him honest, at least. Tomlinson 2 seconds behind Zachary Holden at this point. Tyler Roberts splitting the difference. GT3 AM.
Field is really spread out. That pit stop really shook things up.
It definitely did. All the battles that we saw going on track from those that were kind of hanging around with each other come to a quiet conclusion as we get through the 1 hour mark into the final 30 minutes of this race. Take a look back. Keith Gwinnett, who was in fourth at one point, had a bit of a moment here in turn number 1. I think just a little too much rotation. Oh, just wide. Oh, clip the curbing. Oh.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it a lot, but those 3D curves really changed the dynamic of every track they're on now. They come into play. You know, it used to be back in the day you could just run it out there if you wanted to, you know, cut into the grass and everything else, but not anymore. Nope. I think Kevin was relaying a message to Dan there.
Dan's doing a little bit of bump drafting. Oh, both of them are going to overshoot the corner.
What?
Casey Jones is going to be right on top of them as a result. And Casey Jones is going to slot right in behind the teammate. Almost add to the conundrum. Forced out wide. I'll have to slot back in behind Kevin Hayes. All three of them still going the right direction, despite both of them missing. Well, two of them, three of them missing turn number 1's apex.
I would imagine a few of these guys are starting to keep an eye on the incident limit.
I'd have to imagine. Look at some of the off tracks that some of these drivers have had that get clocked by the system, which for me is not exactly the most robust. Casey Jones, no. Too much acceleration.
What are you doing?
Nope.
That Ferrari power.
Such easy corner to slide on, I know, from, I'd say, every experience I've done in my Daytona 24 years, as well as the races that we've done here before at OMEC and these GT3s, is that if you get on the throttle just a little too early, it's so easy to slide that car out, even, it seems, after the new, traction control update.
Does that corner doesn't have a name, does it?
Not really. They can just call it the exit onto the banking,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't say is inaccurate.
I think I'm going to refer to that as Coffee Corner from now on, because in those 24-hour races, it'll definitely wake you up.
That is very true.
Yeah, it's so weird. I feel like my line through there has evolved over the years, and I still don't feel like correct, but you just fight the car the whole way.
Yeah. It's also one that no matter what you do, I don't feel like you really, at least from my experience, and everyone's, I feel very confident that I've nailed it. It's either I survive or I don't, and I've never been like, this is, I've gotten this corner perfect. It's always like, I didn't die, so I'm considering that a win.
Yeah, exactly. Fortunately, they don't have to worry about GTPs running them over coming out of the corner. Looks like Nick Terrell's holding steady at the front. Nate Side's really not catching them.
Yeah, both, especially the 3 seconds, basically the 3 seconds that material gained in the pits stop time, is how that gap opened up to over a second. I think Nate said it would still be in the draft otherwise, but now as a result, they've kind of kept that gap about where it stands since they've exited pit lane. Taking a look at a couple other battles on track. Jim Campbell and Adam Dahl for laps traffic. Jim Campbell and James Carline for lap traffic, battling in the GT3 overall category. James Carline, a GT3 AM driver. Jim Campbell labeled as a pro driver.
Jimmy, CTD, there's what, 3 or 4 of those cars now?
Should be, I think, 4. We have two that are from CTD Tejas, and then 2 that are CTD Floridas, or Floridas.
Do you know what CTD stands for?
I don't off the top of my head, but I wonder if Google will tell us.
That is a pretty good looking Ferrari. I like the matte on the black, really sharp.
Like the blue accent is pretty solid.
Get 2 bonus points for best delivery.
Yes. Wish we had that kind of power. Yeah, see if we can figure it out here at some point, or we'll ask them at some point of the season.
Yeah.
Give an answer. Rosie Woods having a crash.
Well,
and
had you thought about dragging anybody in here at any point? Now that everything's spread out.
I think it'd be super fun to drag in your teammate Dan Griffin while he's in the middle of this fight with Kevin Hayes, just to really add to the pressure.
I mean, I can approve that, right?
Yeah,
Team manager.
Yeah, I say you're the only one I think would stop me at this point. So.
Is that abuse of power?
I don't think so. I think it's part of the fun.
I like it.
All right. Welcome to the booth, Dan.
Oh no.
How's the race?
Pretty good actually. I mean, considering I spun out of the bus stop, I didn't hit anything. No one hit me.
Pretty.
Count my blessings.
How's the Corvette feeling?
It was really good when it first started to get lighter. Now it's pretty bad. I don't know. This thing just like shreds its tires, and it's not. Yeah. Oh boy. Mind punt. Yeah. I don't know. I considered switching the right side tires, and I didn't. Trying to pass Kevin, and I didn't pass Kevin, and I didn't switch tires, so that was. Anyways, so maybe you should have, but I don't know. It's not too bad. I thought I was slower doing practice laps, like in a straight line, than it turned out to be. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, no. Right now it looks like you're Oh man, well I was gonna say you had the highest top speed until looks like an Acura posted a 290. Thing was moving.
Oh shoot! Oh man! Oh, talking to you guys. Oh boy. Yeah. Bump drafting is like good for like 10 kph. So, anyways. Yeah.
Any surprises this race?
Any surprises?
Yeah.
Where did the Porsches go? Like, I didn't see what. I mean, it must happen during my pit cycle or something. But like,
Oh, the ones
what
in front of
happened? Yeah, like Doyen and Tim
Schaefer.
Schaefer
Yeah.
and
The Doyen took tires, and that's
oh,
where
that was a mistake.
Yeah, that's where Doyen lost out on that one. And then Tim was having connectivity issues as soon as
Oh
pretty
no.
much he took over the lead, and then as he was coming in to do his pit cycle, like connectivity issues
Oh, bummer.
claimed him. So
That sucks.
yeah,
That's definitely the car to drive around here.
definitely seemed like it.
Yeah. Just coming out of the bus stop, it's just so much faster.
Yeah, I think for the longest time they had gosh, I think it was almost 10 kph over Tyrrell's top speed.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Kevin's hanging in there pretty good with the McLaren too.
Yeah, it's looking pretty solid.
Yeah.
Everything looks pretty balanced, actually,
Except for the Porsche.
except for the Porsche. And
Yeah.
especially considering it can just attack the bus stop curb.
Yeah. Like it's not sketchy at all. Although, like, following Kevin through there, seems like the McLaren might be the second best through there. Like, I don't think it was in the Lamborghini, but
No, I think it's one of the only. We don't have a Lamborghini, and I don't think we have a
Aston,
Martin.
right? Yeah. Which it'd be pretty bad through there anyways.
Mm.
But all those poor AM guys, they got together to drive the Acura, and they have to go through the new bus stop here. That's agony. That might be the worst car through there. I have to imagine.
Yeah, we've seen,
like so
seen a few
stiff.
spins.
Yeah. Yeah. No safety car, huh?
Not this
Unless you want to do something to cause one real quick.
one. Well,
It's past the
Yeah,
time.
we're out of the window.
Oh no.
It's 20 minutes. 20 minutes after the start and 20 minutes before the end. When it closes. That and I figured we get one green flag race in.
Yeah, fair enough. This is a good one for it.
Yeah. Plus, up until like the hour mark, y'all were still fighting each other. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it seems like there's still some decent races going on, aren't there? Like,
yours.
I mean, Kevin and one for P10, looks like. Matt and
Overall,
Daryl?
yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, Matt and Daryl, and then Tom Leeson and Tyler Roberts, and Tim Schaefer. He's back out on track. He's doing good. A few
Oh
laps
no. Gosh, man, why do people keep spinning right in front of me? It's not me, I swear. How many laps you guys got left on your overlay?
15 minutes worth.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't have a lap timer on my.
No, that's
overlay.
fine. I
How
played the
many
fuel
laps of
game,
fuel you
so
got left?
I think I got enough.
It sounded like Kevin was fuel saving.
Kevin's fuel saving, so, and I was convinced that I didn't need to, and anyways, 14 and a half minutes left.
Yep. Michael Doyen.
On the podium.
Yeah, if I can keep it here.
I will,
Yeah, it seems I don't know. Good mix of cars signed up for this season too.
Yeah, just no Lamborghini.
What's that?
No Lamborghini.
Yeah. Sad.
Only 2 Ford. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. there's not a whole lot of front engine cars in general.
Yeah.
2 Fords. A
Hey, man,
BMW,
what are you doing?
2.
To the third?
Hmm?
Somebody spun right in front of Dan again.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. See, it's not me. I swear.
this is. I think it is Caleb. Yeah, it is Caleb. Oh, no.
I get
Coffee
scared
corner
of that
strikes again.
Yep.
vacuum cleaner coming up on them. You know.
All right. I guess we'll let you finish out the race in relative peace.
Okay. Thanks.
Also, I have a desire to bother Tony Caicedo while he's in the middle of.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Michael
He also spun right in front of me.
Bowman. He did. I'm pretty sure he might just be a soothsayer of the worst variety.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. Well, I'll let you get back to it. I'm sure.
All
We'll
right.
talk
Enjoy,
to you at
guys.
the end of it. Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, hopefully.
Good luck, man.
Thanks.
Tony Caicedo, welcome to
Fentanyl Sheeny.
the booth. Oh my God.
What's up?
Just checking to see how your battle with Michael Doyle's going.
Well, I feel like it's just getting started. I
Yeah.
caught a pretty nasty off track because I took a little too much curb. Hang on.
Cool.
Anyways, caught a little too much curb. Signed up for Porsche Airlines, didn't realize, and yeah, went flying. So had to take the runoff in the bus stop, but that like destroyed my time, and now I'm here with Michael Doyen.
Hey.
But yeah.
Man, you guys have been battling hard all race long. Are you having fun in there?
Yeah, it's a good time. This is my first time racing with OMEC in probably a little over a season. Maybe I raced like for one race last season, but it's been a minute, so it's fun to kind of actually be back, you know, and hopefully I'll be able to make it for a majority of the season.
That is the goal.
Yeah, totally. So definitely a little rusty. Still feeling pretty bad about Luke earlier.
Oh, in the bus stop.
Yeah. Yeah, looking back, I definitely should have just backed out. And then I clipped that inside curb, and that just sent me out, and that was enough to just kind of do me in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael Doyen's being a thorn in my side right now. I'm just trying to stay in P7 or P6 for the last 10 minutes here. This fucking bastard.
The battle of.
Sorry, I'm sponsoring him on my rear wing. He should let me by. The hell is this?
It's the battle for New England, I think.
No. We don't associate with them.
Okay, excuse me.
We're in New Jersey. Come on.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I had that right. All right.
As a matter of fact, Michael probably felt you say that because he spun out the second you said that. Like, we don't associate with New Jersey. Yeah, we don't associate with Boston.
There we go. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're having fun. I'm also glad you're back, man. I feel like it's been too long since I've seen
Thanks,
you.
man. Yeah, dude, definitely.
So,
So it's always fun to get time in the seat whenever I can. It's been busy lately, but hopefully Tuesdays will be a little more consistent for me now.
heck yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
You gotta, if you are here, I will absolutely just keep bullying you in the booth, and me and Nick.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Bother you with questions because Nicholas is joining me in the booth here this season.
Yeah, Mr. Maynard, what's up? You got too bored winning?
Not at all, man. I got Ben needs some help in here, and I wanted to learn
Yeah?
something new, and I wanted to see how you guys race. That way, when I get back in a car, I'll be that much better.
He's training.
Goodness,
He's keeping a watchful eye.
you sound way too calm right now.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm trying. Certainly trying. Michael Doyen's being a problem right now. Oh, man. But yeah, dude, no, it's cool to see you in the booth, especially having a faster driver in there. I feel like you might be able to pick apart some things that, who knows? I don't know. We're all slow except for you, so.
Whatever. I feel like everybody picked it up.
Damn, Mike! Fuck was that for?
Give them back. Go get them.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, we'll see. Because if I do that, then it's not going to look like an accident, and this guy's probably going to go flying into the wall of the bus stop.
And he's paying for a little bit of that car, right?
He is. You know, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Therefore, I'm going.
What a move. That is textbook on how you drive with confidence right there. Just full commitment. Put it in the other guy's
Well, that's the
hands.
thing. I feel like my school of thought when it comes to racing is full commitment, low IQ. We should find the race start of Fiji years ago
Oh my gosh.
To,
you're-
or
you're
Fuji,
like 6 into
to show
1.
him that
Yeah,
to
so-
catch him up.
Oh, I'll have to, a few seasons back, I think just before you joined Maynard, we.
I think iRacing even posted that clip, if
Yes.
I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yeah, it was one that iRacing then took and posted on their own one. But it's like basically 7 wide into turn 1 of Fuji. And Tony's
Five wide, and I went from like 16th to like, I don't know, 3rd place or
Third or
something.
fourth,
That was
yeah.
something stupid.
Something ridiculous.
Something stupid.
Got some homework to do.
Hmm.
Dude needs to study up on the OMEC lore. It's crazy.
It's pretty fun. Pretty fun group.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, one of 2 battles left on track.
Don't say that, because now I'm gonna spin and you're gonna make me look like an idiot.
That's where that will happen. Okay.
How are the tires feeling?
I didn't take him because I just learned about this new rule, where it's like you take either fuel or tires in the same pit stop. Like you can't take them simultaneously, so you got to take fuel first, then tires. So I decided to just take fuel and not tires, and definitely feeling it. So I've been trying to be nice to them, but also trying to commit as much as I can on them. So a little sketchy, especially on the infield. Bus stop feels fine, but like anything where I'm turning right in a low speed where I'm coming in from a high speed, you know, basically the 2 hairpins in the infield, they feel pretty sketchy. But
Who'd-
other than that,
who'd have
everything else
thought
feels
that?
relatively okay. Yeah, right?
Turning right at the home of NASCAR feels sketchy.
Oh my god. Well, there we go. Now a left turn got me.
All right. We'll leave you to the last 5 minutes of racing.
All right. I'll see you guys.
Good luck,
Good
man.
luck.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Last 5 minutes.
Man. I am very impressed with how calm he was throughout that whole thing.
Tony is such a chill driver until he's not. But it has to be a very specific set of circumstances for him to stop being chill. So way back before I did commentary for OMEC, Nicholas, he was the teammate of choice. The 2 of us would drive for OMEC. So
Okay. Yeah.
him and I we did.
Yeah, I remember. I think he drove a lot my first season. I remember seeing him around a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he drove a lot the first couple seasons. I think about the end of our GTP season, I think, is where he ended up getting super busy. It's these 2 are back at it again.
Yeah, they just can't seem to get away from each other. Oh man, I just had a thought pop into my head, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna voice it, and you probably know what I'm thinking.
I had a thought. I might know as well, but
Let's, okay, we'll hold that in until after checkered flag,
sounds
and then
good.
reveal it.
Josh King getting passed on to Matt Markley. First couple spots
Very nice.
outside the top 10, or at least for the moment. Got multi-class traffic and lap traffic. Jim Campbell. They're ahead of these two drivers as these two continue to go. Big crunched front end there for Matt Markley, I think is why that straight line speed is struggling.
Yeah, even with having a much better exit right there, he still wasn't able to get up beside him. So that's gonna be frustrating.
I'm sure. Luke Besant's also, I think, cutting down a little bit of time to Daryl Weininger for overall positions. Selena Orr's back in pit lane.
Yeah, Daryl hanging on top 10 overall.
Yeah. Not by much, though. Luke
Saying a
Besant's
lot right there.
trying to catch up to him.
He's probably got, what, 2 laps to go?
I would have to imagine this will be 2 to go. Because I'm sure Nick Tyrrell and Nate Sides are already well into the infield. Yes, they are.
Nate Sides has closed the gap down, but there's not enough time left.
Not unless something drastic happens in these closing few minutes.
I'll tell you what, I've been pretty impressed with how Daryl's managed this race. He's realized that, you know, these guys aren't really his fight, even though I know he probably really wanted to hold on to that top 10, but he's managed this race very well.
I think he's just, you know, kept his nose out of trouble, and that's been a huge help in keeping him, you know, a solid 10 seconds ahead of Zachary Holden, who has also, I think, pretty much been, you know, incident-free for most of this race, which is how the two of them are at the lead of this GT3M podium at the end of, you know, 90-ish minutes of racing.
Not only that, but turning like identical lap times.
It's about a second off the lap times of the leaders. Not quite, just under it, but
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see when those two guys get hooked up and lock horns in a battle. It's going to be a good Anfield. It'll be fun to watch.
so these two dive into turn number 1 for, I believe, the final time.
Does Dan have enough fuel?
That is the question. Does Dan have enough fuel? Or does Kevin have enough fuel to make a last-minute lunge for the position?
Side note, I believe Casey Jones tossed it into the wall coming out of the chicane.
No. Take a look at that here in a moment. These two finish their final trip around the infield. Head out a coffee corner. I like that. It's a very apt name. Again, it'll wake you up real quick if you don't get it right.
Are we going to see another move into the chicane for the 12th time this race?
We'll have to see whether or not Kevin Hayes can close the gap soon enough to make the look, and then if Dan's going to go defensive going into it. No move there.
Try to time the run. Time a run coming out. I think he did. I think he got a good run.
I think he did. The question is whether or not it'll be enough.
Close. That's a lot to make up, though.
Yeah. He's trying though. Just not quite be enough.
Two
for
cars,
these two.
too much.
As they come home third and fourth. Nick Tyrrell going to take home the win there for the category with Nate Sides in second place. Splitting the difference between those two. For the lead in GT3 AM, Daryl Weininger going to be working his way across towards the checkered flag. Zachary Holden a solid 8 seconds behind. Another 7 seconds between him and Tom Leeson of the GT3 AM category for those leaders. The rest of the field's working their way around to round out these 90 minutes of racing in the opening of another OMEC season, season number 15, in the 8-week championship. We have no gap week or like mid-season break like we usually do. So I think it'll be pretty interesting to see how they get on here. Tomlinson gonna get
Nick Ter
a podium after all that.
was
What you
just I was just gonna say, just impressive drive from Nick.
got? Mhm.
Like, just always in control. Knew exactly what was going on, had a strategy, and just executes. That's awesome.
Close battle for Keith Gwinnett and Charles Rhodes there at the end for the 4th and 5th spots as our final drivers to come home to the checkered flag. Pull up a little bit of results here. For GT3 Pro, winners of this one is going to be Nick Tyrrell, Nate Sides, or you're going to be in second there with Dan Griffin rounding out the podium, just ahead of Kevin Hayes, who gave him a run for the money there towards the end. Just a few hundredths between the two of them, separating at the line. William Master going to round out the top 5 with Michael Doyle, Tony Caicedo, Joe Evers, Luke Plaisance, and Casey Jones managing the top 10. Matt Markley, Josh King, Tyler Roberts, Kelvin Collado, Sergey Proke, Jim Campbell, Tim Schaefer, Nico Vizzolo, as well as Ben Wyden are going to be, I think, the 2 GT3 Pro drivers who do not reach the checkered flag there. And then in GT3 AM, Nicholas Maynard, do you want to take us away and give us that rundown?
Yeah, we got Daryl Weininger. Impressive drive. I think he finished top 10 overall, so good on him. Zachary Holden second, Tom Leeson third, Keith Gwinnett fourth, Charles Rotes fifth there, Pierre Petit sixth, followed by Caleb. Did we figure out his last name?
I did not.
Rodriguez?
So, let me look at that.
Well, yeah.
Let's see what in.
Sorry, Caleb.
Yeah, sorry, Caleb. We're dialing that one in.
Yeah. Then Adam Dahl, James Carline, and then Trevor Peterson wrapping up your top 10. Landon Orr, 11th. Wesley Woods, 12th. Del Marshall, 13th. Tyler Thomas, Grayson Parks, and Ken Duvall finishing 16th right there. Looks like early accident for him. Bit unfortunate.
Yeah, Ken Duvall, we saw that one incident there turned into, I think, a technical failure of some kind. He hopped over the curb and then hopped into, I think, another dimension out of the sim. So
let's hope he makes it back for the next race.
Absolutely.
Safe travels.
Yeah, such good pace there for Ken Duvall to see where he ends up battling with Dale Weininger and Zachary Holden. I think those 3 are going to be ones to keep an eye on if we're using this as any indicator for the battle in the GT3M podium and that battle and that racing happening there. Do we have folks to talk to after the race? Can just pull on our GT3 AM podium sitters, Tom Leeson, Zachary Holden. We didn't see Zachary Holden's teammate Hayden Mamenga, though.
Oh, that is true.
All right.
Hello.
GT3M podium sitters. How
That's
you
us.
Ah, hello.
Sweaty.
Sweaty? Yeah, I imagine given the heat that you got going over there, Tom Leeson.
Yeah.
How
I
was
decided it'd be a good idea to try to emulate, the Daytona heat.
Yeah.
Turns out even their drivers have AC in the car.
Yeah. They have cooling
My
systems. Yeah. How was the race outside of being hot?
Good. It's nice to have a little bit of spice with the you got to choose not to take tires now. So the entire second half of the race is just holding your breath every time you have to turn the car.
I can't remember
It's
if
interesting.
my issues in the bus stop were pre or post bus stop. I think there was one on the other side, but outside of those, it's good.
Yeah, the one was right after the pit.
Yeah.
Um,
I wasted a bunch of time fighting with Tyler Roberts, trying to catch up to Zach again. But otherwise, like, really fun. It was a few good battles up and down the field. It was a packed house today too.
Yeah.
I've never seen the party chat that busy.
Yeah, it was cool to have that many people and also to be mid-race and still be pretty much in the middle of a train within like 5 seconds forward or back of like 12 cars was cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, there's a few trains going. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I'd say up until the pit cycle, that really seemed to kind of everybody scattered from there.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some people taking tires and
different strategies.
Just, yeah, just like not used to driving with that much wear on tires too.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys at any point debate taking tires, or it was pretty much a no from the beginning?
I told myself if I was close to 80% on my tires when I came in at the end of the first hour or whatever, the first stint, I was gonna take tires. I think I was like still 85s across the board.
My plan was don't take tires unless there's a yellow, and if there's a yellow, then take tires.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that will probably be my plan most of the season.
I was hoping lightning would strike twice and get the yellow while we were in the pits again.
Yeah. I was kind of trying to plan to do that because worst case we come out and we can tandem while other people have to figure out their tire situation. But
I did say right before we pit, you scared the hell out of me because you were fuel saving hard, I think.
Oh yeah.
I almost went into the back here a couple times.
Yeah, sorry about that. I tried to let you know, like, in the middle of the lap, I was like, cross the line and look down, and it was like, you have 0.8 of a lap left, and I was like, oh, I sure do hope I've got one of the back end pits.
It's okay, you can coast it from a long ways out. But... how was the race for you guys? Was that exciting?
Yes. I don't know if everybody got together and decided it was going to be no holds barred at the start or what, but I've never seen so many moves being made into the chicane, into the bus stop ever. So it's fun to watch.
It sounded like it was pretty intense up front.
Yes. I think throughout most of the field, up until the pit cycle, it was pretty intense. But definitely, plenty to watch over the course of that race.
I mean, that's definitely the hardest I've had to work in any OMEC race, I think.
Field's getting deep, top to bottom.
Yeah. It's getting exciting. I gotta go sit in an ice bath before I pass out.
Yes, you should absolutely do that. Are you looking forward to battling for podium positions again this season in the championship?
I'm definitely going to try. We'll see how the Acura feels on a few other tracks, but it's a little dicey with the low downforce tracks.
Talking with Dan Griffin earlier about it. How is that car felt after 90 minutes of racing? Low downforce, sketchy. Do you think with downforce it will help?
Oh yeah, 100%. Having it, because we lose mechanical grip as soon as the tires go. I think my front left was at 73%, so it's starting to just leave, and a little bit of downforce I feel like probably would have helped.
You just need some assistance to have some speed exiting. The car just like doesn't produce the power to accelerate till you're high up in the revs, and by then you see all the other cars starting to pull away. So
Yeah,
something that's not low
feeling that.
downforce. Yeah,
Like,
there were a lot
chase.
of cases where I would see my pace was faster than people, and I would catch them, and then I wouldn't have good opportunities because any exit where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a run on them out of here, they would pull away by like 2/10 before I caught back up to them.
I would.
So
I felt like I was chasing Keith and somebody else. Keith and Josh for probably a good 10 laps, just trying to find a way to stay on them through the corners. Like I would make up probably a 10th or two on the straights, and then I would immediately lose it coming into the next corner.
Overall, happy with the Acura though.
Yeah. I've been trying it on a bunch of different tracks. I really like the medium and high downforce tracks. The low ones are just try and survive. But yeah, the Amcura Challenge is off to a rollicking start. It was a fun race.
All right. Well, we'll let you get back to celebrating the podiums as well as the ice baths because that sounds amazing given the heat that you've been dealing with in the real life world. So, congrats again. Hope to see you all next week when we go out to where do we go next? Good question.
Spa?
Yeah, it makes sense. Spa. Next Tuesday.
Fun.
So
Sweet.
all right. I'm gonna kick y'all
Thanks,
back
guys.
to the party chat. We'll close
All
out
right.
this broadcast.
Thanks for the broadcast, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see y'all in a short while.
See ya.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Final thoughts. I don't like usually pulling people from the focus chat for your reference. Final thoughts from you on how this race was, how your thoughts are, how you feel after 90 minutes of being in the broadcast booth.
Oh man, it's way more difficult than you make it appear.
How so?
I don't know, just kind of overwhelming trying to watch the timing board and see what's going on track, and just, yeah, it's a lot to take in. So yeah, as far as the racing goes, however, I think we are going to be in for quite the season. I feel like there's going to be some season-long battles that are going to be fun to watch develop, and I think it's going to be one of the closest points battles ever as well. As long as everybody keeps coming up, showing up week after week, it's going to be fun. Everybody's going to have to scrap hard. Nobody's safe. I feel like it's going to be anybody can win type deal. So it's exciting, especially if they keep up this aggressive level. That was the most shocking thing.
Yeah, I definitely I think it also helps that we went to Daytona, open up the season at a track that I think a lot of these drivers know pretty well. So they're really confident in where they can put that car to make sure they can have the opportunity to battle, overtake. You know, like you're saying, the number of times we saw lunges into the bus stop more than we've seen in Daytona is like, I mean, you said it best, but I would actually absolutely agree with it. The last 3 Daytona 24s I've been in combined, I think maybe equate to the amount we saw in this one race, in terms of like in-class lunges for position there. I think it really changes when you don't have faster cars to worry about as well, to be fair, but still, just the amount of swapping places, aggressive moves, trading positions back and forth, between Tony Caicedo and Michael Doyen there at the end, especially as we were talking to him, and the two of them just basically swapping positions every time they got the opportunity to, was so much fun. So
yeah, everybody was focused forward, and what's the saying go? Oh man, what is it, like if gap car or something like that?
That's I think the overgeneralization of I think it's Senna's line. That I think he later goes on to go, I was kind of being a dick about it, but I mean,
yeah.
If there's a gap, if gap car, is pretty applicable, and the broader terminology of applying pressure where you can, I think is super something we've seen applied pretty generously here, which I'm excited to see how that translate over the course of the race. I'm super excited to see where, you know, we saw Ken Duvall have amazing pace. I think if that issue doesn't plague him in future races, I think that'll make for a very fantastic race to see where he kind of, I think will split the difference between Tom Leeson and Daryl Weininger for the GT3 AM podium spots.
Absolutely, yep.
Curious to see how that plays out. I think also Keith Gwinnett with a little more consistency will also be up there with them, because I think the only thing that Keith had was a couple of spins that unfortunately I think brought him further down the order than he would have ended either. So plenty of opportunities for these drivers. I'm also curious to see the Nick Tyrrell, Michael Doyen, Nate Sides trio, as well as Dan Griffin whenever he's around. But I know he's also not committing to a full season either. So curious to see where all those drivers make up time.
And the rookie,
Yes.
Tim Schaefer.
Yep, let's not forget Tim Schaefer. But say much like we saw with the issues there, you know, also get resolved for him. He'd be another one that I think will be interesting to see where he ends up at the end of the season. So
yeah, this is I think it's going to be, you know, I mean, I've been around for a couple seasons now, and I feel like it's definitely the deepest field I've seen. There's easily a handful of guys that can win out here.
Mm-hmm. And I think with a new format too, it'll make for some good, you know, we're going to be looking at more, you know, that strategy and that long race planning kind of being the center stage of strategy calls a little more than we see kind of with the alternating AB sprint enduro, since we have more endurance races this season, which I think will be very fun as a result.
Yeah, not only that, but just looking at the Discord real quick, looks like it was not Tim did not mean to take tires.
Wow.
So some mistakes in there. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Everybody tighten up.
Yeah, that'd be very good. We'll have to see. Be cool. Be fun. I think it's gonna be a super, super exciting season to get underway here. So we'll wrap up the episode here. Man, I was doing a podcast earlier today, so my brain apparently is in podcast mode. Forgive me. We'll wrap up this broadcast for tonight of OMEC as we get into season 15. Week 1 now in the books, completely completed. When we come back for week number 2 here in 7 days' time, we'll cover the rankings of where everybody has finished the first race and where that sets them up for their championship battles. Like we talked about, no, it is always early enough to be looking at the battles for the championships over the course of this. So
Absolutely. Last year, I mean, we tied. It came down to number of wins. So
that's true.
Every point matters.
That it does. So we'll have to see. All right. Final thoughts before we send it out here?
Yeah. Just buckle up, people. Be fun to watch, and make sure you come back every week to see how it plays out. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I am as well. We thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you all in 7 days' time. I've been Fettuccini. Alongside me in the booth, as always for this season, is Nicholas Maynard. Thank you for being here. It's been I am very excited. I was already excited before, but now I'm even more excited because I think it's just going to be so much fun. So we'll see you all in 7 days' time. Coming back for Spa, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, as it's known, as the rest of all these drivers will be gearing up for the Spa 24 the following week in just a little while. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.